everybody, this is Heather, the Hidden Historian, and I am out here today in a real-life ghost town. It's one of the most put-together ghost towns in the state. We're here at Henry River Mill Village. In fact, many ghost towns in North Carolina, and there are, I'd say at least a dozen, possibly more ghost towns in North Carolina. Many of them, there's not much left standing, but here at Henry River Mill Village, many of the houses are still standing. I just heard like a spooky noise and got spooked for a second. I wonder what that is. So this place might even look familiar to some of you who are Hunger Games fans, because this ghost town is so well preserved that they actually put it in a movie. This was Katniss's hometown, District 12 in the Hunger Games. So I'm out here today, just like yesterday. We took a trip out to Western North Carolina to visit a few places to get photos and interviews for my upcoming book on the hidden history of North Carolina. And while I'm out here, I just wanted to go live, see if this is something that you all were interested in, exploring some of these abandoned places live with me. So we're here today taking a look at Henry River Mill Village. And I'm just going to walk around and show you a little bit of it. Again, I want most of it to be kind of a surprise in the book, but since I'm out here, I thought it'd be great to really give you a look. It's a beautiful day to be out here because it's autumn and it's just kind of the perfect time of year to get pictures here at this ghost town. So the book that I'm working on, we're basically going to delve into a lot of North Carolina's ghost towns. Again, there are, I would say, at least a dozen, but there could be dozens of ghost towns in North Carolina. That's what makes this history so interesting, is a lot of these ghost towns were lost, wiped off the map completely, never to be heard from again. So we don't even know exactly where they were or if they were real. But this ghost town is still standing, though you can see that it's in, the condition is kind of overgrown. I mean, some of these houses with the windows are gone. If you were to go inside, which you're not allowed to, but if you were, you'd very likely fall through the floors. But it's still standing, so you get this snapshot of what it was like to live here when it was still a functioning mill village. Look, here's an outhouse that's still standing. Most of the outhouses have fallen, look more like that. So that one that's still standing is pretty cool to take a look at. And we're going to take a peek through some of these windows and really get a sense of what Henry River Mill Village was like when it was functioning. So look, you see there's even some houses back there in the woods. A lot of the homes are along the main stretch. By the way, I have a slow connection out here, so if I drop off live, that's what happened. But don't worry, there'll be pictures, and of course there'll be a story, and there'll be a big story about this in the book. In fact, I met some people out here today who grew up in this village and shared some interesting stories. He told me there's a secret tunnel around here. If any of you see it on the stream, let me know. I would love to find the tunnel that goes under the roadway here. He said it goes out to an old baseball field. But anyway, wow, look at this. So this is an old mill house. Henry River Mill Village is exactly what the name implies. It's a mill village. And there were lots of mill villages in North Carolina at one point in time. In fact, working in a mill was, I'm too short for that window. Let's take a look over here. Working in a mill was one of the main jobs that you would have, a very stable job. And in fact, a lot of mill villages used to stand around North Carolina. And what happened is you'd get a job at the mill. Wow, look inside. Got these blue walls. I wonder if that came standard or if they painted them blue. Gotta watch out for the broken glass. And it looks like over there, is that furniture? Yep, there's a couch in there still. And you can even kind of look into the other room. See what we can see. Again, we can't go inside. That's not safe. There is one house here that you are allowed to go inside. So we might take a peek inside that house when we get to it. You can see the houses line the street. So a lot of the mill villages that were in North Carolina, they looked similar to this, right? They were built maybe the mid-1800s to early 1900s, depending on the village. And the way it worked was life completely revolved around the mill. The mill has burned down in this particular village, but you can see where the river is and the dam was. Look how beautiful it is out here. I'm walking through somebody's backyard right now. Well, not anymore, but this is a place where families would live. Usually at least one of the parents would work in the mill. Well, yes, of course, one of the parents would work in the mill and the kids would play, and they lived in these small, simple, but really sturdy homes. Many times the mill owner would provide the homes either for free or very inexpensively if you worked in the mill, right? So the whole community was really built around that mill. Here's a shot you might recognize from the Hunger Games. When I came around the corner, I saw that and I said, wait a minute, I know that scene. That's from the Hunger Games. And we're going to see it even closer. I'm going to go around here. Look, there you go. There's there's a general store here too. We'll go take a look at that. That general store, I was told by a man who was out here earlier that, that was the store that all the people in this mill used, or this mill village used. They sold dry goods, baked goods. They had, you know, meats and cheeses that they'd cut for you. And, yeah, here we go. Here's the kind of the look from Hunger Games, right? You can see the line of houses. Look at that. And again, you could imagine back in like the early 1900s, maybe children playing in these backyards. I'm actually walking over all sorts of different nuts and fruits that are falling from the trees. So I'm sure the families probably used those as well. You can see other houses down there back in the woods. Another outhouse that's still standing. Let's take a peek inside. Looks like they've filled them in. So this was at one point a thriving mill village, and it's huge. It's got 40 acres, and you can actually just pay to come take a tour out here. And when you do, you just get to wander the grounds and explore everything. Let's take a look at the bakery. And again, let me know if you like these live streams. I don't have to do them. They're sort of a test. I got a book deal, oh gosh, only a couple of months ago now. So it's my first book, and it's going to be exploring the hidden history of North Carolina, including a lot of ghost towns and things that are hidden underneath lakes, cemeteries that are hidden in the woods. I believe, yes, this is the house you can go inside. Let's take a look inside. So this right here, this is Katniss Everdeen's house. So in the Hunger Games, this was the house that was hers. And by the way, there is the bakery. We'll go take a look at that in a second. And if you remember, there's actually a shot where Katniss is sitting by a tree and she's like starving basically. And Peeta is standing right there in front of that pastry sign, and he tosses out a loaf of bread to her. He becomes the boy with the bread. Let's take a look in here. Katniss's house. Again, you still have to be careful, even though this house is open, because they've preserved it pretty well. It's still, you know, you got to be careful walking inside. These are very old homes. Wow. So this one, I think they've set up to still kind of look like you're in Katniss's house. I can't go up the stairs. I really wish I knew it was up there. All these mill houses, I think they're laid out all the same, because when I look in the windows, I can see the staircase cutting across that window on every home. But let's take a look at what these houses looked like. So again, these mill houses were simple, hardwood floor, very small and simple, but big enough for a family to have a good life, right? So you can see there's the front window, and I love looking through this window because look, you can imagine, step back in time, and this is what it would have looked like to live here. You'd look out the window and see the bakery out there, the general store during the day. Maybe while you're playing inside or looking out the window waiting for your dad to come home from the mill. You can see they've got furniture set up in here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure if this is meant to look like Katniss's house. If you guys remember from the movie, let me know if this looks like Katniss's furniture to you, or if this is meant to look more like a simple mill home. You can see the rug, hardwood floors, pretty spacious. I'm not sure where the kitchen would have been. I guess probably maybe the corner over here, there were kitchen hookups, and they probably would have had, but again, these were people who lived with like outhouses. There wasn't, you know, indoor plumbing or anything like that. There's a back door, and then here's the bedroom. And again, upstairs, there are more rooms. So I bet you there are bedrooms up there. This, I guess this is, maybe this is the child's bedroom? Got a very small bed. And I guess you could use it however you wanted. You can see it's got the beautiful windows covered up. And then this old, I assume a child's bed, because it's very small. Though I would fit in that bed. But I bet you that my husband wouldn't. And then some storage and closets under the stairs. Let's take a look at the bakery. So again, these live streams are really just a test to see if you all are interested. So if you like these live streams, please do leave a comment and a like and let me know that you do want me to do more of these, because I'm going to be traveling to a lot of places like this doing the book. And the live streams take a while. So if you're not interested, then I don't want to take the time doing them when I could do other things. But if you really want to do some live videos exploring some of these places with me, just let me know. There we go. There is the general store. And what I've been told is that, this store sold, like I said, pastries and cakes, obviously. It's got an upstairs. And there used to be a boarding house over there that burned down. That gentleman that I spoke to who was here, he told me his parents first lived upstairs in that house when they first got married. You can see the row of houses along the way. It's a pretty sizable village. This is a beautiful shot right here. Look at that. You can see the houses over there. And then over here, there's a stage. Apparently bands would come and entertain the mill workers and the families that lived here. So anyway, it was common for families to live in a mill village in North Carolina, especially in the mountains. Mills were such a, you had to have a mill for everything, right? Mills produced, thanks Jan, mills produced everything for you. They gave you your cotton and your wool. They gave you, you had sawmills that would give you the wood and lumber that you needed. Corn mills, there were just so many, obviously mills would provide a lot of the energy that you needed. So most towns back in the day were built around water because you had to have water to make a mill run. I'm going to walk you through this beautiful last strip of town here. There's a lot more to this town, but again, it's 40 acres, so we're not going to walk the whole thing. Life here in this village was simple, and you would go shopping right over there. You could just walk there and walk back home. Apparently this was a water reservoir, so they could access the water pretty easily. They also could walk down the road, and I'm told there was access to water down there, as well as a ball field. Now here's the big question on a lot of people's minds. Why does a ghost town become a ghost town? And that's one of the questions I really want to answer in my book. Why does a ghost town become a ghost town? Why were they built? Why were they abandoned? And how did they come to be in a state of decay? And the answer is, oh, by the way, leave you in suspense. You can stay the night in this ghost town. You can sleep right over there. I'm definitely interested in staying the night in a ghost town. I think that would be a really fun experience. Okay, so why do towns become ghost towns? And in the case of Henry River Mill Village, there's part of the mill down there, or part of the building that was attached to the mill. The mill itself is gone. So a lot of mill villages, you got to think about what happened. Eventually, we didn't rely on mills nearly as much. And I actually talked to a man who grew up here, and he told me exactly what happened. He said people started to move away. The families started to get jobs at places other than the mill. It wasn't nearly as important that they work at this mill. There were other opportunities popping up in places like Hickory. We're near Hildebrand right now, and they might go to Hildebrand or Hickory or some of the other towns in the area that were bigger and they were thriving a little bit more. There were opportunities there. Sometimes the schools were better. Maybe the churches were better. And ultimately, the families would move away. You can hear the water. I can hear it. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Down that way, the river. And I've heard that the mill burned down. That was after the village became abandoned, though. The families began to just move away. And they left their houses vacant. And for a long time, an older gentleman continued to own this village. And he owned the land. But he got older and he couldn't maintain it, and there were no more families here. And I believe it was the 1970s when the final person moved out of this village. And ultimately, the person who owned it couldn't maintain it all alone. And as far as I know, he eventually sold it. I'm not sure the progress of all the different people who owned the village, but currently there's I believe a family that owns it, and they let people come here for tours. Now, I don't know the future of this village. Obviously, it's a lot to maintain, and I'm sure it's expensive. And that's ultimately what happens to a lot of villages. Sometimes, I mean, here's a sad reality, but you know, the hurricane that just came through western North Carolina destroyed a lot of homes, a lot of communities. Things like hurricanes, fires, war, floods, those are what destroy oftentimes a lot of villages or a lot of historic houses. And in this case, it seems like it was economic. People left for better opportunities. So I'm going to flip the camera around. Again, let me know if you're interested in me doing more of these live streams wherever I visit, or if you'd rather see more short form content that isn't live. And again, keep an eye out for my book. I'm working on it right now, so I'll be traveling and visiting a lot of these cool places while I get pictures and interviews and learn more about this history. Thank you for exploring this ghost town with me. I'm going to go test doing a live stream again on my personal Facebook page to kind of see where more of the viewers are. But once again, here is just a look. I saw a few people just logged on to look, so I don't want to leave you with no look at all. We were just wrapping up the stream. You're welcome to watch it when it finishes from the beginning. But we are in Henry River Mill Village. It's a ghost town here in the foothills of Appalachia in North Carolina. We just started at the other end of the village, way down there, and walked all the way down here looking at all these houses, including the bakery, and we even went inside one of the houses. So if you go back through the stream, you can skip through, and I'm sure you can find that. And hopefully I'll be doing more live streams from some of the other abandoned places that I have to visit soon. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore this ghost town, which is Henry River Mill Village and also is District 12 in the Hunger Games. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.